Welcome to day 310 of me trying to get rich dropshipping, and today we had a $210 day, and it was day 2 testing my new products. There's the proof right there, guys. It's never gonna focus, but that is in fact $210 on day 2, which is pretty cool. So let me first of all update the revenue counter. We are now at $1,860 in revenue. Now, that means we're actually profitable on this product, which is pretty cool if you ask me. It's definitely looking like something that I'm going to carry on to day 3 testing, and yeah, I'm excited. This could in fact be a winning product. The cost per click is still pretty high, around $2.50, but it's been coming down throughout the day, and I think tomorrow it's going to be a lot lower because I was forcing around £3 of spend on every single ad set just so that I could, you know, make sure those ads were tested properly. But I had 12 ads in the campaign, which meant that, you know, that's a good £36 of spend on maybe suboptimal ads. So I've turned that off now. Tomorrow we should hopefully see that CPC come down a lot. Now let's talk about the subscriber growth. Let me just check the metrics for today. Today we're at 847 subscribers on this YouTube channel, so I'll update that. And it is currently, wait, what was it? 47. And it is currently the it's the 9th of September today, so we have 21 days for you guys to get me to 1,000 subscribers. Now, I'm turning 20 on the 4th of October, so that is my goal for 1K subs. If you guys can maybe get that, I'll be very, very grateful for sure. So yeah, if you guys can get me to 1K subs, that would be pretty cool. We've got like 100 left to go, so yeah. Now, today I did quite a lot of work for my day job, to be honest. I really just locked in on that. But I did, of course, do Cala data. So let's tick that off the checklist. I did arms at the gym. I did some studying creatives and marketing education. So basically what I did was I went on Foreplay and I just went through a bunch of ads for a similar product to my one, because I'm the first of my product, which means that there's no other ads for it. But for there's like an adjacent product very similar to mine, and I basically just went through Foreplay, just made a swipe file of loads of ads that were like similar to mine, just so that it's like a bit of inspiration for when I'm inevitably going to have to make ads for this product if I do decide to scale it. So yeah, that's where we're at. That I also got a quote for the product. However, it's way more expensive than I thought. It's insane. On 1688 it's about 40 cents, and bro, I don't know if it's tariffs or what, but I'm being charged like $6 for one item, which is insane for like how cheap the product actually is. Like, okay, I can understand if it's like $4 shipping, but even then that's $4.50. Why is it $6? And then when I try and get 3 with the free gift, $15. It's crazy cogs. Like, just no way. I might have to ask for a different supplier, because yeah, that is craziness. But yeah, obviously when I'm scaled up a bit more, I'm gonna have some more bargaining leverage, so hopefully we can get that down a bit further. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. But yeah, I mean, we're cooking. All right, so my mic just flipping died, and I went onto Yap for another 10 minutes with 0 audio. So that was a cook from me. But as I was saying, we were in fact cooking, and I'm going to try and get 2 more product tests made today, because I have a call with the one and only Suminator later on, and I'm sure he can advise me on whether to run the tests or not, basically. So here is a graph that I just drew and then yapped about for 10 minutes without any flipping audio. So I'm gonna have to re-explain this to you, because this is actually a crazy revelation that I had recently. But basically, the start of this journey, bro, like, I didn't really understand that this is a competition and you aren't just going to make it if you just keep trying and don't give up. Like, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You do actually have to be in the top like 5% of dropshippers to actually make money. But that's why it works, and that's the beauty of it, right? So basically, there's a certain amount of money in the world, and the way that it's distributed is just different depending on different ways of earning. Let me rehash this whole thing. So basically there's two main sort of ways of making money in this world. You have the business world and you have the career world, or like the job world, right? And the thing is they're fundamentally different in how, first of all, who gets paid, and second of all, how the effort and skills are distributed. So if you have a day job, this is like job, people in a day job, people don't really give up in a day job, really. They tend to sit in there and work for like a long period of time, which means that only the people at the bottom get kicked out and only the people at the top make money. Well, no, actually, everyone makes money, but basically it's a bell curve, right? So you have it like this, because no one ever leaves the system, really. It ends up being a curve like this shape because most people are in the middle, because everyone's like in the same area for over a long period of time, which means that you're going to have like a bell curve where the average person is got the average skill level. So this is like the number of people, and this is the skill level. Most people are here because most people are average, right? And it's only like if you're below this level where you get kicked out of the job, and it's only like above this level where you get a promotion. And this is an interesting thing to think about, because that means that most people are basically retain the same buying power for their whole life, because obviously I don't know how much you guys know about like the way that finance works, but over time the currency is obviously inflated, and therefore your buying power doesn't really increase. Like, you'll get promotions every year, but generally you'll sort of stay at the same level of wealth. And it's only that abundance is created through technology and business. That's the reason why you're able to afford more things over time, but you're not actually really increasing your wealth particularly. Like, if you were to use your savings to like compare that to the price of gold, for example, and you didn't invest in gold, you'd notice that your wealth isn't really increasing. It's just that your salary is increasing in relation to the inflation of the world. So basically what I'm trying to say is most people are here and they stay here for their whole life. And this is like the salary. Now, it's actually quite easy to get here as long as you get put in this position and you're fortunate early in your life. So this is actually very luck based. If you're born into a good family and you tried and you were okay in school, you'll get in the system. And it's actually quite an easy way to make okay money, because you don't really have to, like, all you have to do is be better than this person and you'll keep your job, okay? And if you lock in and try really, really hard, you'll get here. But the thing is, the ceiling for how much you can make here is quite small. So, you know, if you locked in and you were this guy for like 5 years in a row, you might get a six-figure salary. And that's in the UK. So you may get to like 100k a year, which is like £8,000 a month or something. And, you know, that's okay. It's not bad. But for the amount of effort you have to put in there, it's not that good. But it is easy to stay here. So this is why most people think this is the method, because it's easy to keep your money because of how many people, the people you're competing with, and how easy it is to stay in the job. However, with business, it's a bit different. So with business, it's not really a bell curve. It's actually a little bit like this, where you have the number of people and the skill level. So it's a different distribution where as you increase the skill level, the number of people decrease. And you only get paid once you're like past this point here. And for this entire area, you lose money. So what you have to do is you've got to like push through to the point where you've gone through all of these L's and everyone else has given up, and you're now in this golden zone here. And when you're in this zone, it no longer becomes something like this where you just get a linear increase in pay. So it's no longer, this is like the job salary increase. So it's like this, right? This is like effort, and this is money. This is a job, right? Whereas with this, once you get to this point, it doesn't become this line. It actually becomes this line. And there becomes a point where your effort you increase it by a very small amount and your salary increases exponentially. And this is why business cooks. However, you've got to go through this because the money is only made here. This is the only part where the money's made, and you have to become the top like 5% to get any money. But this is the beauty of it, right? Because say there's like 100 mil split between these people. Right? There's 100 mil split between this whole distribution. And it's given in a pretty linear way, with these guys making most of the money, but it's pretty evenly distributed. Everyone gets paid like 50 grand a year. It's okay because it means that it's easy to make 50 grand a year. But if you want to exceed and you want to be better than everyone, there's not any room to do that, because you've got to make sure you're paying all of these people as well that don't try as hard. Whereas a business, if you've got 100 split between these people, because these people all lose money, they don't even make money, they lose money. All of this is going here, which means that you can become very wealthy if you're good at the game. And that's the beauty of it. But because of the way that it's distributed, you have to push through all of the horde of people that want to try and make it in dropshipping and become the guy that gets to here, and then that's when you get paid. And then when you get to this point, it gets exciting because you're going to very quickly start to overtake how much you could be making from effort and sacrifice in a job. And the other thing is paid ads, right? So there's loads of different business models, but the reason why I chose Ecom, and particularly paid, is because you can leverage it with money instead of time. So with like organic, for example, if you want to get paid more, you have to make more videos. So the machine looks like something like this. This is organic drop shipping. We've got like the input here, and it goes like this. So the more time you put in, the more money you put in. That's how it goes with organic. And obviously you can hire people and make it into some sort of agency where you get people to make ads for you. But this is quite difficult, and it's very hard to exit because of this reason. It relies on you and your skills unless you can hire people. I know it is possible, but this is like a basic explanation. Whereas when you have paid ads, it actually looks something like this. You put in a little bit of time and a lot of money, and then you get out money. Which basically means if you're good enough, you can get to the point where all you need to do is you put money in and you get more money out. Which is pretty cool, because that means you can literally just scale and increase the amount of money you put in by taking the revenue out and putting it back into the system, and you can just create a feedback loop where you get more money out. Which is kind of a basic level of how dropshipping works. Now, this is something I didn't really deep, okay, because my belief system before was, this is like, you just got to keep trying and eventually you make money. No, it's actually not the case. You have to be better. You have to be that guy that's better than everyone else, and you've gone further than everyone else, and everyone else has given up, and you're better. And that's the only way you actually make money. So remember that, guys, whatever strategy you're following, try not to get distracted and switch strategies, and try not to listen to all these other opinions, because everyone has found their niche, and there's many ways to make it in this world, but the only way you're going to make it is if you're the best. And the only way to become the best is to keep doing the same strategy until it works. Some strategies work and some don't, which is why you need to do your due diligence and figure out which strategies work. But for example, I'd say the two best strategies at the moment is building a brand from scratch using marketing skills, and doing calorie reps and then building brands on top of those. And the thing is, the marketing products from scratch it's got a way higher potential, but the skill floor is also way higher. So it's like with like the marketing way, marketing from zero, it's the skill floor, like to make money, to not get fucked, is like here, but you can print. So you have to be good enough to get to this. You have to jump over this bar, right? Once you jump over this bar, you can literally make a 9-figure brand, and that's why it's beautiful, because you're actually using your skill, and your skill is powerful enough to basically make any product work, which is cool. However, you have to be able to jump over this bar, and if you can't jump over this bar, you've got to do a lot of training, and you're going to fail a whole lot. Whereas if you do like calorie reps, you're going to have a lower bar to jump over, but you're also going to be capped at basically the creative fatigue. And luckily, it's not like you're trapped in this forever, because over time you can actually learn marketing, and then that means you can use this as a springboard, jump over this small little bar, and then use your marketing skills to push it higher than the ceiling. But that's kind of where I'm going. But yeah, basically the point I'm trying to make is you've just got to pick one of these strategies and become actually good at it and better than everyone else. So that's kind of how it goes. But yeah, that's a hell of a yappy video, I can't lie. If you enjoyed it, like, and hopefully today I flip in print. I mean, I need like one more sale to be profitable, and it's flipping 9 a.m. So it's looking good, bruv. And we've only spent half the budget. We're sitting at a 2 ROAS right now. Let's fucking go. So yeah, we could be scaling tomorrow. Who flipping knows? But yeah, if you're actually still watching, that is crazy. Attention span of the gods right there. Put like a Jesus cross in the comments if you're still watching, because you'll go and you're basically God. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.